YouTubers is here. Game of Thrones season 6. I've waited a whole year for this. Man. Okay, before we start, and I'm really excited. Spoilers ahead. Warning. Spoilers. Spoilers. Spoilers, okay? You good? That's it. That's your warning. I'ma start now. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Game of Thrones season 6, episode 1. The Red Woman. This is one of the most satisfying premiere ever. Like ever, man. Like this, you like last season, like when the Game of Thrones season 5 came back on HBO. It took a few episodes to get in the groove, to feel like you're watching Game of Thrones again. You guys gotta excuse me too. I got allergies, and my throat is not working so good. But this season, it picked up right when it ended. Right where Jon Snow died. Right, so we started out with the Watch. Jon Snow died, and Sir Devils was the first one to find him. He came out and he saw Jon Snow laying dead on the ground. So they picked up his body, and they took him inside the castle. And it's crazy because the very next day they had a meeting, and Sir Alistair Thorne, dude, he made like. He didn't even try to cover it up. He straight up just said, "I killed Jon Snow. I killed the Lord Commander." And it's crazy because I hate you're supposed to hate that guy, right? And I do hate that guy, Alistair Thorne. But his reasoning is just so logical that he almost bought me, right? He said, even though he did not like the Lord Commander, everybody knew that, but he did not disobey any kind of order. And the fact that Jon Snow is bringing in the wildlings is gonna hurt the Night Watch. And he had to make a decision. He gave his life to the Night Watch. He would die for them if need be. And bringing in the wildlings would eventually kill off the Night Watch. That's his belief. And he even go as far as saying that Jon Snow wasn't a bad person. Jon Snow knew, thought that he was making the right decision, but obviously, to Sir Alistair Thorne, he didn't think so. And it was crazy because you're watching this and it's like you're like you know whose side you're on. I know I'm on Jon Snow's side and I want Sir Alistair to die, but watching the man reason it, that's what makes the show so compelling, right? There's no black or white really. And everybody has their own motive. So there's no straight good or bad guy. And that's what I love about the show. So anyway, Sir Devils is locked up in a room with Jon Snow's body. And the Red Woman, Melisandre, right? Lady Melisandre. She came in and she saw Jon Snow die. And she was like, I saw him fighting in the snow. And she said the same thing about Stannis. So apparently she's wrong about both of them, right? So there's that. And then she left the room. So I'm like, dang, they teasing us right now. What's going on here, man? But the tension is building like crazy. So right now, Sir Devils is stuck in the room, and Ed, one of Jon Snow's friend, because Sir Devils was like, we don't have to die here tonight. Because they were trying to fight against Sir Alistair Thorne. And they had more people. And in the room there's only like 5 of them. So Sir Devils, he's like, we don't have to die tonight. And we don't forget there are others who own their lives to Jon Snow. And right there, that's the wildlings. So Ed is now gonna go and talk to the wildlings. So I'm expecting like a big battle or a big war between the wildlings versus the Night Watch. I can't wait, man. Back at Winterfell. So Roose Bolton and Ramsay, they found out that Sansa Stark and Reek, or Theon Greyjoy, has escaped. So Theon and Sansa were running in the snow. Da 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 da. And then they found a little tree, that Sansa's hiding under. And then Theon was like, you stay here. I'll lure them somewhere else, and you can run away or whatnot. And surely they caught up with them with the dogs and everything. And then Theon was like, yeah, Sansa died. It's I left her body in the snow, but the dog, they picked up a smell, and so the soldiers, the Bolton soldiers came straight to where Sansa was hiding. And man, this moment, it was like I was elated, because they had all these characters all over the continents, and they've been flirting around, trying to they meet up, and they kind of not meet up, or they mention each other, or they don't miss each other by like a scene or whatnot. But here, Sansa is about to be attacked, about to be taken back to Winterfell, and it looks hopeless. And all of a sudden, you hear you hear the horse galloping, and then guess what? It's Brienne. She made it. And with her is Patrick. Yo, Patrick is badass. He can fight now. Brienne showed him how to fight, I guess. And he can use a sword. He crazy now. The only thing that kind of I wasn't really not happy, but I was like, dang, I know they want to stay true to the show, realistic, because Brienne has been standing there watching the tower since the last season, and she's fully armed all the time, and I guess she's been riding in the snow all day looking for Sansa. So by the time she got there, she killed 2 guys on a horse, king, and she killed them. But then one guy came up and just knocked her off her horse. I'm like, dang, I thought she would be more badass. She just killed them all, But then again, like I said, fatigue plays a big role. But it's also kind of nice. It's realistic in that way, and also it makes it a lot more suspenseful, because if Brienne was in her top physical form and she had a lot of breasts, and she was ready to throw down, she would have killed them all. There would be no tension. The fact that she came up already fatigued, tired, and she got a couple guys, and then she got knocked down off her horse, that left Patrick doing the fighting. And Patrick, he's cool, he's good. I'm like, yo, I'm so excited. But he's a new guy, so he's still inexperienced. And the Bolton, they're from the north, they're hardcore, what I mean? They fight against the extreme weather and enemies. So, man, but that scene was so cool. So at the end of it, Brienne was like, I offer my service to you, to Sansa once again. And Sansa accepted her offer. So right there, bam, they're a team. So now they got Sansa back with Brienne. Patrick know how to fight. And oh, Theon, he picked up the sword and he's like, he stabbed the one dude. So I'm like, yeah. So they got 3 fighters on the team now. They got 3 big fighters. They got Brienne, Theon, and Patrick. So Sansa looked like she's gonna doing some damage now. So that was great. So anyways, this brings us to probably the best part of the episode. I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Spoiler alert. If you have not seen this episode, I know I spoiled some things earlier, but this is the big WTF. So go watch it before you watch this. So, as you can remember from the last season, Prince Doran, which is Oberyn's older brother and the current ruler of Dorne, right? He gave that girl, it was his brother's girlfriend, Illyria Sand. And sorry, my voice is all messed up because of allergy, but yeah, Prince Doran gave her a warning. He was basically, if you mess up one more time and you try to hurt Marcella or put our country in jeopardy once more, it's over. I will kill you, right? So in this in this episode, in Dorne, You see Illyria Sand helping Prince Doran kind of walk around because he has gout, so his feet hurts a lot. And you know, she seemed like she's really cool with him, and they are bonding. And then they all sit down in the garden, and you know, his big like bodyguard, it's like the huge guy with the big axe, is right there with him. And Prince Doran is right there. Illyria Sand is right there, and her youngest daughter, you know, one of the sand snakes, the youngest one, the one that had like a crush on Bronn, she was there. So they were just kind of bonding and talking, and then a messenger came for the prince, and he gave the prince the news, and I was like, oh shit. Illyria is so fucked, right? Because, you know, basically in the note it says that Marcella died, poisoned, and you know, basically Prince Tristan is coming back to Dorne, and Jaime has left to go to King's Landing, and shit is about to hit the fan. And you know, right now, Illyria is so screwed. The prince specifically said, if you jeopardize this one more time, you are dead. So I'm like, here we go. And then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, so the youngest daughter, one of the sand snakes, just straight pulled out a dagger. I mean, I'm thinking it's poison, and just stabbed the bodyguard. You know, the big guy with the axe? Like, he didn't even get to fight. He didn't even see where it was coming from. She just straight stabbed him, like, and he's dropped dead on the floor. Illyria pulls out her own dagger and stabbed the prince to death. Right there, on the spot. Prince Doran killed by Illyria Sand. She was like stabbing him like. The thing is, the whole time this was happening, it happened in front of all the guards, all of the Dornish soldiers just watching them, and I'm like, well, for real? They're not gonna do anything? But then Illyria kind of explained it. She was like, nope, you don't even know your own men. Like, to the prince, he's like, they hate you. Your sister, Elia Martell, you know, she was raped and killed and cut in half, and all her children were killed. And then your younger brother went over to King's Landing to get, you know, revenge for her, and he got his head crushed in and he died, and you did nothing but look around. You're so useless. I'm like, what? So I'm like, that makes sense, but it still caught me off guard. I don't know how Game of Thrones do it, but they did it again. Never saw that coming, like, at all. So we in King's Landing now, and you see Cersei just sitting there playing with her hair, you know, and it's well, what's left of her hair anyways. And then she was just sitting there, and she looks so sad and down. And then all of a sudden, you see a handmaiden come in, and she was like, there is a ship sailing from Dorne, a Dornish ship sailing to King's Landing harbor. So Cersei gave up this like biggest smile, like, I feel so relieved with all this happening around me. At least my daughter is home safe now, so that would give me some kind of comfort. I'm like, oh shit. So surely enough, she ran out to the harbor and to greet her daughter, but all she sees is Jaime with a small ship coming in with the body of her daughter. And I'm like, man, now Cersei got nothing to lose, and I know Cersei is gonna F everybody up. So there's that. Which brings us to my least favorite part of the episode. That's not to say I don't like it. I'm just saying it's the least part that I like, and mostly because it's just so illogical, in my opinion. You run into the story of Daenerys, right? So in Marine, you have Tyrion Lannister and Varys dressed up as civilian, rich civilian, and Tyrion is kind of surveying the area to see how people are responding to the fact that Daenerys is no longer there. And I'm like, if the Sons of the Harvey were there at the fighting pit, they gonna recognize Tyrion. He's a unique man, you know. It don't matter if you dress him up in armor, rich people clothes, slaves clothing. He's gonna look like Tyrion. So I'm like, how are they not recognizing him? So I'm like, okay. And also, he's with Varys. I mean, Varys wasn't at the fighting pit, but if he were, or if people knew about him, I mean, Varys looks like Varys, regardless of what you put on him. So I thought that was kind of like, you know, I guess I'll just buy it because they want us to buy that. So, however, the one scene was funny. Tyrion walked up to this one lady. She had her kid, like baby, holding her baby, and he was like, "Oh, I'll give you some money." So he gave her like a coin, and he said, "Something for your baby to eat." And the lady is like, and Tyrion's like, "No, no, it's okay, take it. You know, it's for your baby." She's like, you ain't touching my baby. And Varys was like, "Dude, your Valerian is horrible. You're telling her that you want to eat her baby, you know, not feed her baby." So I thought that was pretty funny. But going on to the next scene, which is again, Daenerys story, man. So Dario and Jorah Merman, right? They are looking for Daenerys Targaryen, you know, because she flew away with her dragon, and they have no idea where she went. So miraculously, somehow, they end up at the exact place that her dragon took her, right? They even see the bones of like the animals that her dragon have been eating. I mean, the freaking dragon flew away. It's not like they had GPS around this time, you know what I'm saying? And then they just, two men, just on horseback, and they found the remains of the dragon. And they got to the place where she was taken by the Dothraki. And, you know, last season where she took off her ring and dropped it there as like a sign. And guess what? They found that ring. I know. The whole freaking continent. The dragon could have been anywhere. They found it. They found a ring that she dropped. Exactly at the place where the Dothraki took her. Where her dragon flew her there. So I'm like, man, that's convenient. But the next scene with Daenerys, I kind of liked. You know, I'm watching it and I didn't know what to make of it. You know, she's like a slave now, and they wanted to give her to the new cow. And then when she finally meets him, because the whole time they were speaking in Dothraki, and then she didn't respond to them. I guess she played dumb. And then at the end of the scene, they brought her to the new cow, right? And she was like, "Do not touch me. You cannot rape me. You cannot lay with me. I am the wife of the late Khal Drogo." And the guy was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Nobody will sleep with you. Nobody will even touch you. You have my apologies." So she was like, "Yeah, you know." And she was like, "You know what? Bring me back to my castle marine, and I will give you 1,000 horses," right? And the guy was like, "Ha ha ha ha." So they were like, "There's only one place for the widow of a cow," and she was like, and he's like, "That's to go live in premise a temple where all the rest of the other widows live." And she was like, I'm so screwed. This brings us back to the Night's Watch. This is weird, you know? It wasn't like shocking in a way that's like, but it's just like, ooh, what the? You know, it's kind of weird, like, So, basically, you have the devils stuck in the room, and, you know, Alistair Thorne is trying to get him to open the door so they can come in and slaughter them all and take Jon Snow's body. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, what really caught me off guard was The Woman in Red. So the whole time I'm like, why is it called The Woman in Red, you know? But now that we got to this point, I'm like, oh. So she goes into her room and she's looking around. I guess she misses Stannis, you know, he's not there. She walks up to a mirror, start undressing. She looks in the mirror and you see her reflection, and she starts taking off a necklace or whatnot. And then you go back to the mirror, and now she's a old lady, like freaking 120 years old lady. Her boobs are all saggy and everything, and then she just like crawls up and go to bed. And I'm like, I wasn't sure if that's how she is every night. Like she has to drink all this potion or whatever to keep her looking young, or she pretty much give up now that John and Stannis died. You know what I mean? But that was a weird way to end it. I'm like, there's a few bits and pieces that I'm kind of skimming. There's a small scene with Arya in Bravos, I guess, and she's blind now. She's like pretty much a beggar, but nothing much happened. I mean, the girl, the short haired girl that was in the temple that's always picking on her, she came up to her and kind of bully slash train her with the sticks, like stick fighting. But the whole thing was like 3 minutes long, so I mean, it didn't really show anything much more than what we already know, which is Arya's gonna get trained and she's blind, you know. But the other storylines are definitely paying off major time. So episode 1 of season 6 of Game of Thrones, I actually really love it. And there are small things here and there that I didn't think was logical, but to be honest, it's not enough to take away from it. So it's darn near perfect. I'll give it a 4 out of 5.